I haven't got my.
Brothers, sisters, siblings, welcome to Penn Sunday School, starring Penn. My name is Michael Hudeau. Matt Donnelly, Reddy Rich, Penn and I are broadcasting from our separate homes in Las Vegas. Today, Penn's got a quick book report on Hidden Valley Road. We got offers from Puddles and Al Franken, both including Godot. And what did Penn search for that sent him to the Daily Storm Nazi website? Here he is preaching love, Mr. Penn.
Yeah, this is Penn here. Penn preaching love in a time that needs love from more than me. That's for sure. You know, I was trying to shirk doing this show. You know, last week the country was in turmoil, and we had Dr. Greger on, so we were able to talk. I can't believe I can say this sentence, but more pleasant subjects like pandemic and chronic heart disease.
Yeah.
And this week, you know, with Black Lives Matter being out there and so important, and our president, I just, you know, whenever it comes to racial issues, I think it's very important that people know, anybody that listens to me in any way, know that I know that no one cares what I have to say about it. So I'm going to try to, once again, shirk my responsibilities and say, like everyone, I agree with Black Lives Matter. Like everyone, I think that police brutality against anybody is very bad, but against African Americans is clearly disproportionate and has to stop. And our president is doing nothing to. It just seems that we all have this 2-minute speech in our head that Trump could give that would show some sort of empathy and compassion and actually save lives.
Yeah, like the most saccharine platitude we can imagine would be more helpful than what's happening.
Yeah. And
I just watched Mars Attacks.
Yeah. And I did not like that movie at all. Is there stuff in it that's worth watching?
No, there's just platitudes in it up front.
I see. But I do want to say this.
You think Trump could get away with just repeating that one?
This is something that made me happy in a very small way, in a very sad week, and that is, why did the chicken cross the road?
Why?
To take his picture with the Bible in front of a church. That is not my joke. I want to hasten to add, I was not able to find the provenance of it. But I do think that it's one of those cases where it looks like it was the long game and someone traveled back in time and started the why did the chicken cross the road joke to seed it so that 100 years later, the perfect joke could be said. It is a perfect joke. Just perfect. And
let's hope it was Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler has invented a time machine, and that's what he used it for.
Well, you can hope whatever you want, Godot. I may hope different, but okay. I would give that to Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler is I like Adam. I like Adam a lot. I don't know him well. I did the show that he did on Netflix, I think, about the agent, Sandy something. I was in with Dr. Drew. Dr. Drew and I were in it together. I think also with I think it was Dr. Drew, me, and Vanilla Ice, which is a brain trust that is since Jefferson dined alone. Has there been that brain trust? And I will say again, I've said it before, that I have a bone to pick with Vanilla Ice, and that is that his name is Rob Van Winkle. And if your name is Van Winkle, why would you change it? Why wasn't he Rap Van Winkle?
Yeah.
Why wasn't that his name? Why would you go with Vanilla Ice, which is so easy to ridicule, when you have Rap Van Winkle, which seems so classy to me?
Well, it's sad that Adam Sandler won't let him use his time machine.
And you've brought up this brain trust before, and I believe it's the first time in history that I have less issues with Vanilla Ice.
Than I do?
No, than with Dr. Drew.
Okay, really? Oh, yes, I guess so. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Drew has been, he apologized and then went back again, right?
I guess when he apologized, they stopped calling. And so he unapologized and got back on TV.
That's a very cynical way to put it.
It is.
I mean,
I'm not being fair to him.
I mean, Drew is, Mr. Pinsky, Dr. Pinsky is a very good, I mean, I disagree with him on so many things, you know.
Right.
He is so fringy on so many things that he believes. Strangely enough, in medicine, you'd think that the magician juggler from Vegas would be the one gooping all over the place, and that the doctor would be the one who was more conservative. But that's not the way this hand was dealt. That's all.
No.
So what have your weeks been full of? Any news there, Godot?
Well, I was off at the frog sex party this week. That was pretty fun.
Oh, your mic is low, I think. Can you
Sorry.
Your mic?
Yeah, I hiked out to the frog sex party this week, and they were so excited that they were not paying attention. I managed to catch a few frogs, actually.
What did you do with them?
Yeah. I just let them back go in the water. Just looked at them and
Just
let 'em
keep
go.
your chops up, right?
Just exactly. In case you never know, this food thing might go poorly. Things seem to be a little on the edge with the whole pandemic. I want to make sure I can still catch frogs, support my family.
Now, do you think you catch them better or worse than you did when you were in the swamps in 17?
Well, these are tiny frogs. It's hard to tell. I'm talking 2-inch frogs. So,
What color?
also they were sex confused. They're kind of dark green with a little stripe across their eyes, like a raccoon.
Like a raccoon, except for size and
Yeah,
phylus. Yeah, phylum, right? Yeah. I do like frogs.
They're beautiful singers. You should come up with me. It's a hike, but there are probably 4 or 5 different types of frogs singing in this creek area, and it's wonderful.
The original pre-show for Penn and Teller was a thing called the Frog Pond.
Really?
Did you ever see Penn and Teller back then?
No, I was there for Ema Sumac.
Yeah, before Ema Sumac. So I guess maybe it was Asparagus Valley and not Penn and Teller. We played an album that I just loved as our pre-show called The Frog Pond. And it was put out by Yankee Records or something like that. I still have a copy on vinyl, and of course have a copy on CD, and of course have a copy on DAT.
Send me the dat.
And it's, I don't know, I guess I have digital too. I must have digital. I must have an MP3. It is great. It is 2 men with heavy New England accents. I think, for reals, I guess now that I think about it, maybe I didn't think before, sitting out by a frog pond. But they might be just sitting in a studio listening to a recording of a frog pond. Since the other side is them without talking, I'm led to believe that all these years I've been snowed by the frog pond. And the line I remember most from it, that there's the spring peeper. Listen, there's the barn owl. Let's give him a hoot and he'll see if he'll answer back. They do stuff like that. And it's 2 Yankees talking about frogs. And we thought it put people in the proper frame of mind to see our magic show. Are you typing on mic ready? It's annoying.
That's ready, yeah.
Turn your mic off.
Wow, that was harsh.
Well, what are you going to say?
You were a lot nicer to Dr. Drew than you were to Reddy.
I was. Ready, I'm sorry. But it was just like, who needs that? And what else, Godot, this week?
I've been trying to catch the Starlink, the satellite.
Yeah, I know you. You send me on all these wild flying goose chases. My wife,
I apologize.
You put a wild hair up my wife's ass, and this is like the sixth time you've done it. And sometimes you make her wake me up at 4 a.m. to go out and look into the sky. I have bad eyesight. I have been at some of the greatest astronomy places in the world.
Yeah.
And I've had the opportunity to look through telescopes. Tim Jennison has a beautiful telescope. Rob Pike has a beautiful telescope. And I've also been to national ones. And I do not like them. I do not like telescopes.
This is not a telescope thing.
Let me finish.
Would you like them with a fox? Would you like them in a box?
I do not like them.
I'm going to type while you do this.
I try to put my eye up to it, and I can never get the focus right. My eye doesn't look right. Then what I see in there, the fact that it's live doesn't mean jack shit to me.
Right.
Just show me a goddamn picture. Okay. I just want to see a goddamn picture. And then my eyesight is not good. My night eyesight is not good. And my neck and back and attention and everything, I could not give the slightest fuck about seeing cosmic events live.
Okay.
I've had Lawrence Krauss say, "Oh, we're able to see Saturn." I don't give a fuck. Send me a picture. Send me a picture in email. There's something wonderful about the family getting together to see a once-in-a-lifetime occurrence in the sky. I understand that. But what the family getting together means 3 people whining and my wife pointing to things that aren't there.
All right.
Especially what's worse than this, at least we knew we weren't seeing the Elon Musk thing. And it's also the Elon Musk thing is controversial. I don't know what side I'm on. I don't know if I'm supporting it. I don't know anything.
Yeah.
Wait, why is it controversial?
Because he's clogging up. He's clogging up the orbits with space junk.
Hundreds of satellites so that everyone on Earth will have internet access anywhere.
But it also means the astronomers don't like him for that.
Right.
So going out an astronomy field trip to see something that's anti-astronomy, but that doesn't bother me that much because this was a window of 10 minutes. I walked out on the balcony. I brought a chair with me. I put my head back. I looked up, and it was done. That was okay. What I really don't like is shooting stars.
Right.
Now, Chip Denman, who is a real fan of astronomy, and knows this shit, would take me out into the backyard. Oh, there's what is it called? The shower that's every year or something.
Leonid.
What's it?
There's a bunch of them. They're all named for the constellation they seem to be coming from.
Say one of them.
The Lyrids.
No, not that one.
Okay.
Is there one like the Pyrenees?
Yeah, there's one like the Pyrenees.
Or the
Pleiades.
Or the Leonids?
Maybe. Leonids, that's one.
Oh, that is actually one?
That Leonids is one, yeah.
So we would go out when the Earth was moving through a veritable cornucopia of astronomical events that cannot be missed once in a lifetime.
Yep.
And I sit there with people looking up while people go, oh, there it is. And I look over there and it's gone. Oh, there it is. And I look over the other place and it's gone. Oh, look up there. There it is. And it's gone. And I do not see one fucking thing all night. I'm just tired and ornery. And I've learned to not let my orneriness be shown.
Good.
Because that was much worse. Now I just put my head back, look up, and people say, see it? And I go, oh, I missed that one. Oh, I missed that one.
Cosmic Snipe Hunt.
Yes, Cosmic Snipe Hunt is what it is. By the way, that's the name of our show.
Let me write that down.
I don't get to see anything.
Just don't
and
type loudly.
if I did see it, Godot, what am I seeing? I'm seeing a little pinprick of light.
You're going to see 60 pinpricks of light traveling in a line.
Whoa.
It looks pretty great. Actually, you can find it online. There are
Good, fine. Send it to me. We're done.
Okay.
What I'm saying is,
I have a bad. The website keeps telling me we're going to see it, and we keep going out there, and it's not there. So
exactly.
I have ordered a new a new app.
A new web.
I'm done with this internet.
Cosmic Snipe Hunt. Cosmic Snipe Hunt. I will tell you that looking up, seeing that stuff, it's nice to be outside, it's nice to see that. But when you're watching, for instance, a squirrel, okay?
Yeah.
A squirrel is not a pinprick of light. A squirrel moves in delightful, interesting ways with a big fluffy tail, and you can fucking see it. Wow. You don't go out and someone says, there's a squirrel over there, and you look and they go, oh, just missed it. Squirrel sits there on the tree and entertains.
I'd say I would call lizard in the Goldilocks zone between the two things you just described.
Lizard is exactly between Elon Musk and a squirrel. The halfway point, that's where you're talking about little fast lizards.
Yeah, little fast lizards that when they're like on your pool wall or something.
Not
like,
big, slow lizards.
No. Like one kid will be like, look, lizard, I see it. And then anyone after that does not see it. It's
right.
Gone.
We found a lizard, about a 7-8 inch lizard, stone dead in the pool back of the slammer. Stone dead. Not moving, nothing. Just a disgusting blob of dead in my pool. And we pulled it out of the pool and put it by the side of the pool, hoping that a little while later we'd be less lazy. This was me and Mark Wheeler. And we would take the lizard and dispose of him properly, a burial or cremation. We'd have to check his will to see, but some probably more likely throw him in the garbage. And we were waiting for that, sitting having a soft drink or a seltzer with ice, sitting in the chair in the heat, and just passing the time, two old friends. Mm-hmm. When about a half an hour later, the dead lizard rose from the dead, shook it off, and ran away.
Nice.
Lazarus the lizard, or Lazar lizard, was risen from the dead. But I think that the halfway between Elon Musk's prick and a squirrel lies most lizards. Very well pointed out there. Now, just to tell you, because I'm very, very careful now, I am now going to segue seamlessly into an advertisement.
Well, that won't stop me from telling very vulnerable stories about my life.
Okay. Because, I have been learning stuff. I listen to things. I'm trying to do more audio listening so I do things physically at the same time. And I can tell you, Blinkist is unique and powerful. It works on your phone, your tablet, or your web browser. There's so many nonfiction books that I read, and then a few months later, what I remember from it is about 15 minutes.
Right.
And there's so many of these I want to learn from. And Blinkist is great because it gives you the best key takeaways, the need-to-know information from over 3,000 nonfiction bestsellers in over 27 categories. Blinkist condenses them down into blinks, which is what they call it, blinks, which you can read or listen to in just 15 minutes. Perfect length of time to give to a book that you're interested in, but a review of that book isn't enough, and the book itself is too much. Blinkist is right in that lizard zone of the sweet spot. And now Blinkist offers its members even more, including exclusive original podcasts from top authors and creative thinkers. You still get access to the entire Blinkist library with your membership, and now you can also dive deeper into full-length nonfiction audiobooks at a special discounted price. Over 14 million people use Blinkist to deepen their knowledge in topics spanning life improvement, personal growth, management, leadership, and mindfulness, happiness, and more. I love Blinkist because you just get what you need. That's not true. You get what you're going to remember out of a book. And I usually use it when I go for a drive, which I've been doing now and again. I used to use it a lot on my commutes, which will be coming up again. And I love the ones that are on history, I love the ones on history, because when I read history stuff, I don't remember more than 15 minutes. You've got The Barefoot Investor by Scott Pape. Everything is Fucked, a book about hope. Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind, which is fabulous. Becoming by Michelle Obama. You've also got Outgrowing God by our buddy Richard Dawkins. Hacking Darwin by Jamie Metzel. Future of Capitalism by Paul Collier. I want to do that one real soon. Right now, Blinkist has a special offer just for our audience. Go to Blinkist.com/Penn to start your free 7-day trial and get 25% off a Blinkist premium membership and up to 65% off audiobooks, which are yours to keep forever. That's Blinkist, spelled Blinkist. Blinkist.com/Penn to get 25% off a premium membership and a 7-day free trial. Blinkist.com/Penn. Okay, I'm going to do another one, just so you know.
Thank you.
Now, Godot, you love this skylight frames, right?
I love it. I got one for my dad, and it's the greatest.
Yeah, my wife loves hers. I go in, and the amount of things she has popping up on a frame on her desk is remarkable, because my wife did not use it for just the family. She gave it to psychopaths. She gave the address to like Shin Lim. She gave the address to Carrot Top. So she gave the address to lots of her crazy comedian buddies, Kwong and all those guys, and they send her all sorts of stuff. So the pretty family pictures that I sent her are lost in the huge shuffle. And when you have a relative like your dad, that you're not able to visit now as much, you can just email them a photo and they appear in seconds so your loved ones can see family moments right away. It's just set it up for a loved one or use it yourself. Nowadays, staying in touch with those we love is more important than ever. The easiest way to do it is with Skylight, a photo frame you can email photos to anytime from anywhere. A great way to feel close to those you love, even when you're separated. Multiple people, even Carrot Top, can send photos to the frame. It's a great way to keep large networks of friends and family in touch. As a matter of fact, all of you, I think, could get in touch with Carrot Top and give them the address to this, and he'll send you crazy stuff. It sets up effortlessly. I just can't believe I just said that. Poor Carrot Top. It sets up effortlessly in under 60 seconds, way under 60 seconds. Just plug it in, use the touchscreen, connect to your wireless network, and you are done. Sending photos to Skylight is effortless. Everyone in the family can just email photos to Mom Skylight, and they'll pop up in her home in seconds. Has a black frame, so it's a real photo frame, and adds beautiful touch to your home. 100% satisfaction guaranteed, as they say in New Orleans. Guaranteed. You get tears cried with pictures of children and grandchildren. It's so simple. Even a non-tech savvy person can do it. Customers love Skylight. One Facebook review said, "This is such an isolating time as we are just trying to keep my grandma safe and healthy. This gives her a little glimpse of us every day. And then we talk on the phones. We talk about the boys and the pictures they sent." Now, as a special holiday office, you can get $10 off your purchase of Skylight Frame, and go to skylightframe.com, enter code
Penn.
And
that's right. You get $10 off your purchase of a Skylight Frame. Just go to skylightframe.com, enter code
Penn.
That's SKYLIGHTFRAME.com. You do not need the in the middle. That was just me. SKYLIGHTFRAME.com, and the code is
PNN.
That's correct. Absolutely.
Now, your wife loves a good bit. She's offering to give out her Skylight email address.
she sent us the address in case you don't mind everyone on Earth.
Did she actually say to you that you could do that?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm not going to do it, but you can. Go ahead.
Well, I'm not going to say Gillette@ourskylight.com to the whole world either.
Yeah, they'll have to figure out how to spell it themselves.
Remember when I gave out Godot's email password?
Yeah. This is great. This is a perfect revenge.
So I'm going to tie this all together. Everything's going to tie together. So I guess
20 minutes into the show, we're done.
I don't know if Dustin would approve of this, but I'm going to recommend another podcast that's not on Cast. But if you guys listen to the New York Times Rabbit Hole,
Yes.
have you listened to the whole thing?
Yes, I've listened to all 8 episodes they put out so far.
Are they going to be putting more out?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. It is so incredibly good. It is so chilling.
Yep.
I think I talked about this a little bit the week before last. They got people's YouTube's viewing history. And they also did that interview with PewDiePie.
Yep.
Was phenomenal. PewDiePie has 110 million followers.
On YouTube, yeah, subscribers, yeah.
Subscribers, I'm sorry. And it's so funny when he talks to the New York Times, who have 8 million subscribers.
Yes.
And they say, we're having you on to set the record straight. And then they kind of correct themselves and go, I guess you don't need us. And he says, 8 million subscribers. Oh, that's nice. And there is this incredible, I guess when you're young, you never think you're going to be on the other side of the generation gap.
Nope.
When my parents didn't understand the Mothers of Invention and that Jethro Tull wasn't a person, and I laughed at them for saying the Led Zeppelin,
Yep.
and they couldn't tell the Beatles apart, and Bob Dylan just sounded whiny and nasally, and they just had long hair and they were dirty, and they hadn't heard of bands like the Turtles and would just laugh when they heard their names. Abby Hoffman and Jerry Rubin, they didn't understand that those were two different people. And the Yippies had a point of view different from the hippies. And all that stuff. And the fact that I knew that Chip Monk did lighting for the Stones, Well, now I'm on the other side of it. PewDiePie is probably the most famous person worldwide of our lifetime.
Right.
By any sort of real metric. And I have listened altogether to maybe 20 minutes of PewDiePie.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like his Fiverr challenge, where he had people hold up racist signs to see if they do it. My children understand that instantly, that PewDiePie is not anti-Semitic. They understand instantly what the challenge was and what he was talking about with the website, which is people will do anything for $5, and he wanted to see how much they would do. My children understand that, like they understand English. They understand the way he speaks and what he says in that style, and I don't.
Right.
And my children know the names of Jacksepticeye and Markiplier.
Yeah, sure.
They know them like they're friends. People would wake up with the time change to have tea with the Beatles. Found out they had tea at 4 and did that, so they'd get up at whatever that is, 7 a.m, depending on daylight savings time, which, by the way, I'm not in favor of. To have tea with the Beatles, and Mox walks around in a jacket that says Connor from Detroit Becoming Human with the Let's Play video with Jacksepticeye. She does cosplay on TikTok for hours and hours a day, doing makeup and doing characters and working on these routines and doing them sometimes split screen with other people, other places in the world. She comes downstairs having had conversations with fellow fans, laughing hysterically, going, we give flower corpses, we give plant corpses to people for their birthday. Talking about bouquets, those are corpses. There's a whole understanding there. And then the episode on the rabbit hole of QAnon is really unbelievable.
Yeah. Crazy. And they actually, yeah. They started off by going to like that one guy. So there was a murder of a crime boss in New York.
Yeah.
And they're wondering how it's connected to other mob guys, and it's not.
It's just a Q thing.
And the guy drew a Q with a pen on his hand and held up in court. I looked it up. It's such a strange photo when I looked it up. It's kind of like, I think the hardest part about that podcast is that it actually makes the argument compellingly so that this was inevitable with the internet. That what's happening was the logical conclusion of what the internet would be used for.
It's all machine mind. You know, and the thing he says, which is not in the podcast, but is in his description, the main guy, whose name I should know and I don't. Let's call him PewDiePie. The guy says that he saw a protest of several people not wearing masks, saying "open up," and he was going to write a enraged email to his mom, saying, "I can't believe this." And then realized that that image was 10 people in the country, and that it was a machine that was putting that to the top of his feed in order to make money off his rage.
Yeah.
And that feeling, you know, the feeling that are you really feeling rage, or are you virtue signaling? Or are you just being manipulated into staying longer online? I've got to tell you, getting off Facebook, one of the best ideas I've ever had.
Any regrets?
None, not even slightly. I miss people's birthdays, and they sometimes write to me a little hurt. Because Facebook used to tell me when people's birthdays were, and I always sent them a happy birthday, baby.
Yeah.
You all have gotten those.
Yeah.
Now, I don't do that because I don't know when people's birthdays are. They're not reminded. And that is a real regret. It's the only one. But I see my mother-in-law and my wife physically upset and troubled by Facebook discussions that they are in with friends, and often friends of friends.
Yeah.
You know, it's I can't see anything healthy about it.
I even changed my whole idea about that recently with Facebook and stuff like that. Basically because of conversations of having with Gregor and our folks and our demigods. You know, that advertising works.
Yeah.
And it hit me the other day when like a elevated Facebook discussion was breaking out on my page, which I always hate. And I used to quietly delete it and be like, if you want to have that discussion with them, you go have it between each other and not on my page. And they'd often write back, but we aren't Facebook friends. And I used to write back, yeah, exactly. So, you know, and then all of a sudden you have all these people coaching against the bubble. You can't have a bubble. You can't have, you know, whatever. If you always shout out, you know, if you always shut out people who don't share your thoughts, then, you know, you do whatever. But what you find is that I would delete posts or lose that friend. And then the people who were debating them, whose opinions I shared, were like, oh, I still wanted to take them on about blank, or I want to take them on about something else. And in my head, I was like, that's no different than having people over in my living room and just having a fight in my living room. Sure, everyone's going to remember that party, but why the hell would I want to throw another one? And who's going to want to come?
I believe there's a big mistake you're making there.
Yeah.
It's not your living room. Mm-hmm. It's a machine that is making those fights happen in your name.
Yes. Well, and that's where I'm gone back to my original tactic of absolutely deleting it off of that thing, because advertising works. And so if that person has a voice, I have a platform of almost 5,000 people, right? So I'm giving someone who doesn't have that platform, that giant platform, to put those thoughts out there. And those thoughts represent what you're saying. It might be 10 people, but they're going to consider that a side or a group of people or whatever.
We're going back to Tommy Smothers saying I should not have been on Glenn Beck.
Right.
You know, his argument is valid.
Yeah.
You know, I always say my side of the argument, but his argument that you give validity to that is also true. And getting out of a bubble, there's much better ways than Facebook.
Right.
You know, I read theological books that are pro-God.
Yeah.
You know, I read books that I do, and that is a deeply thought out point of view. It is not clickbait.
And none of us can point to the time that stranger put that comment on that article that was like, oh yeah, and I changed my worldview forever.
Yeah.
You know, it's just not the platform that changes a mind.
But there are some things about it that are very positive. I love everything Rich Ross posts.
Right. But
You know what I mean? And I know some magicians and some juggler friends who are team politic guys. And so I'm like, well, you know what I mean? I can learn a little.
Oh no, I think it's
I don't think you're learning anything, Godot. I just don't think you are.
Huh?
I would say you're much better off reading a book.
I don't doubt that.
I would also say that I would like Rich Ross to have a relationship with me
Yes.
and not just throw it out. I mean, he
But
should
these
write
are things
me
that Rich Ross and I wouldn't discuss
Yeah.
because they're not things that Rich or I feel. I mean, I guess that feel's not really the right word, but they're not something that, Rich and I wouldn't be talking about racist issues. Not because we don't care about racism, but because it's not part of our lexicon.
But I mean, I think maybe we all want to be less curated by machines.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because the machine is going to always go for they're not able to keep you on board with tender, sweet, nuanced moments.
No.
It keeps you on board with strong, strong emotions. Yeah. And those strong emotions include cat videos and squirrel videos and cute, but they include more often something that you're enraged about on either side. I also don't watch, I read my news. I don't watch it. I'm very, very careful. And many people may be very offended by this. And I certainly think I could be very wrong on this. So I'll just say it. I have not seen George Floyd being murdered.
Right.
I've not seen that video. I have seen stills. I've read about the time. I've read the autopsies, not all of them, but I've read summations of all three of them. I read about the service, all of that, but I don't know as I need that video in my head. I'll even say that the Fayetteville video, which made me sob for about a half an hour, because it was the first one that I heard about on this. I read about it, and I thought about watching the video and then didn't. It's the video where the police officers in full riot gear take a knee in front of the protesters.
Yeah.
Now, I know that's happened all over, but for everybody in the country, it was a very, very difficult time, and still is. And that was the first kind of loving thing I saw. And it's amazing that even when this is happening, there are police officers who are still doing brutality on video.
Right.
You'd think self-preservation would, but anyway.
No,
50% of the people are below average.
it's difficult.
I don't watch those videos, and I don't know. That may be a failing on my part.
Yeah. I guess primarily what you're speaking to earlier, there's all the money's in division. There's no money in calm, nuanced unity, right? All the money's in division.
Well, that's what Trump learned. I mean, Rabbit Hole does tell you how we got Trump.
Yes.
And I think there's a very good argument, if you want to make a sensational argument, and we are on a podcast, so we should. You could say that Trump was very clearly elected by AI.
Yeah.
Pumping his supporters to the top there, and Facebook targeting and all that stuff that was done so wisely.
Yeah.
And the QAnon as well. But I want to talk about my own personal rabbit hole. Handsome Jack posted this article in McSweeney. You know McSweeney, the literary magazine?
Yeah.
You should look it up. It is really funny. It's Billy Joel. It's an article. Billy Joel playing Piano Man for the first time in the bar that he wrote it about.
Yeah.
Have you read this, Matt?
I did. It's hysterical.
Have you read it, Godot?
I have not. I'm looking for it now.
We're not going to read it now because it would be an injustice to steal their stuff for our podcast. But go to
But
McSweeney.
a highlight would be that a real estate novelist hearing that he is in a song for the first time and Billy Joel saying, it could be anybody. I'm just talking about anybody.
And him saying, maybe I wanted to use that story in my novel. and the waitress saying, why are you saying the waitress? My name is Amy, Billy. You know that. You've been working here for 2 years. I'm Amy. I'm not the waitress. Okay, so that's where we start. Very, very funny bit.
Yeah.
So Handsome Jack sends me that, and I read it. And I remember that I did a parody called I'm So Vain.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm not going to play it now. It's not really my sense of humor exactly now. But I take the song I'm So Vain by Carly Simon, and with a band leader named Travis Shred, I record a song that is first person instead of Carly Simon.
Yeah, hers is
second.
You're So Vain. Yeah.
Right. So I write, and I gave away the things I loved, and one of them was you and your stupid dreams about clouds in your coffee. Yeah, I'm vain. Yeah, you wrote a song about me. And then I end by going, I'm going to write an answer song to this called You Have Low Self-Esteem. You probably don't even know this song is about you. So it's just a little gag, right? So Handsome Jack wanted it. So I searched for it on My Music, and I searched for I'm So Vain by Penn. And it came up, and I went to find it to send it. And the picture that I'd attached to it, because I'm a nut, anything that has pictures, I make sure there is a picture. So everybody in my contacts list, every song of my 2 terabytes of music, they all have pictures. So the picture I chose for that was not me, but the picture I chose was a picture of Carly Simon from the cover of her album that has You're So Vain on it. And if you remember, and if you're anywhere near my age, you do, that cover of Carly Simon is her walking in a top, braless, in a way that I found very attractive. Carly Simon is very attractive, and Carly Simon in that picture is very attractive. So let's follow this. Handsome Jack, Billy Joel, funny bit, send him the picture, send him the I'm So Vain. I'm so vain, I see the picture of Carly Simon, and that gets me thinking. This is a postage stamp type size picture of Carly Simon on the cover of her album. So I have the inner tube at my disposal. So I open my Google and I type in Carly Simon album cover, right? And up pops the album cover in its full glory, with Carly Simon being very, very attractive. And I see it on my full iMac Pro size screen. And I go, my, that's nice. I wonder what else there is. So I type in Carly Simon sexy. Okay? And I get other shots from that shoot, full size. And I go, oh, this is nice. I wonder what happens if I type in Carly Simon nipples. So I type that in to my, there it is right there. He has popped it up. It's a very attractive picture. She's wearing a hat and a blue top. She has a beautiful smile, beautiful face, and very attractive breasts that are not, are showing through her top. So I type in that phrase, and what pops up is a close-up of that. And I go, oh, that's interesting. And I click on that. Okay, where are we now? Billy Joel, comedy, McSweeney, starting with Handsome Jack. I'm So Vain, postage stamp thumbnail, picture of Carly Simon. Oh, that's attractive. Let's look up Carly Simon. Look up Carly Simon. Oh, Carly Simon sexy. Carly Simon nipples. And I pop that up. There's a picture that details that and is very attractive. And then someone writing underneath it saying, yes, she's very attractive. And then all of a sudden, it goes to horrible, nauseating slut shaming in the next two sentences. So this person pulls this picture and then hates her for it, and then goes instantly to anti-Semitism, and goes instantly to her father being a publisher and the world cabal of Jewish bankers controlling the world, and his slut-shamed daughter.
Wow.
And now at this point, I have popped up in the middle of this page. And I go to the top of it and say, where the fuck am I? Where the fuck was I? Daily Storm.
Oh, Jesus.
I was on the actual Nazi page. Handsome Jack, here's a funny thing in McSweeney. Boy, Carly Simon's attractive. Nazi, 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 Nazi. And I had just been listening to Rabbit Hole.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, ha, ha, ha. This guy starts out with, do you want to build a snowman?
Yeah.
Right? And he ends up on these anti-Semitic, racist, right-wing crazy sites.
Yeah, a guy went from Obama voter to hang out with white supremacist organizations in 4,000 hours of YouTube.
4,000 hours. I did it.
You're better at searching than most.
I can name that song in 4 notes. It was amazing. And it was so incredibly poetic that I was listening to the Rabbit Hole and kind of feeling, I guess you would know when you made that click.
Right.
You would know when you made that click. I knew that my click was prurient, no doubt about that. I am a little embarrassed to talk about searching for those words, but I imagine there were some listeners who searched for sexual terms in Google once or twice.
At least 2.
Yeah. At least 2 listening right now. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. I mean, I had heard about the horrors of the YouTube algorithm and things like that, and I thought it might be exaggerated. And then I kept reading article after article that kind of followed it through. And then listening to the interview on that podcast was frightening.
Yeah.
Especially because the only thing that shook him out of it was those people being out YouTubed. It wasn't that he was like, you know what, I need to get away from it.
And the woman that was on QAnon, the only thing she gave up on was that Q wasn't really a government person.
Right.
She still believed all the cabal stuff.
Yes. Crazy.
I also want to say that I'm still doing Cameo at cameo.com. And I mean, I'm supposed to be doing them a service. They are engaging me at cameo.com to make these videos. Some of them that I'm doing are just so delightful. A woman retiring from working in special needs education and all her great qualifications. A dad who does magic tricks for his children describing the magic tricks to me. I also had a guy who is 450 pounds, 6'3", who's read Presto, my book, and read all the Cray Ray stuff, and just wanted a pep talk.
Nice.
Can I need a video from Penn telling me I'm a fat fuck and I can make it.
Wow.
And it was really, really fun. And the other one that blew my mind was a person who had been sober for 6 months. And his family said, I know, Penn, you're a non-drinker and non-drug person. And our friend has been sober for 6 months. And let's celebrate that. Right. And you tell him any stories. And I was able to tell him stories about, Lou Reed.
Yeah.
And being with him when he was, successfully staying sober. And, Father's Day is coming up. So a zillion, billion Father's Day things. And I tell people, if they know a card force, and you can learn a card force by just searching Penn and Teller card force.
Right.
Or there's one on the Cameo website. If you learn a card force, just be prepared to force a card. You can use the 3 of clubs, but any card you want, learn to force that card, and then tell me what card it is, have me do a Cameo, and then you can do a card force, screw up the revelation, and then say, I got this Cameo for you from Penn, and I will say, your nitwit son Matt screwed up the trick. What he meant to say was, is this your card? And I'm doing a lot of those for Father's Day. It's going very, very well. And I have to talk to you about Al Franken and Puddles, who are both using Michael Goudeau in the future, using me as a conduit. Now, I want to see how quickly you can get from Al Franken to the Daily Storm, and I bet that's one click. I got to tell you, I actually got, I was going to say a chill, but it wasn't a chill. It was a dirty flop sweat, because my enjoyment of Carly Simon's sexuality was, in my worldview, wholesome.
Yeah.
It was wholesome. She was on the cover knowing she looked attractive. I was enjoying that. There was no violation of her. And certainly, I did not think less of her because of it. And boy, when I started reading that filth and that hate, I knew I'd clicked on it. And I felt a just horrible shame, blushing horrible shame. And my wish for myself is, may I always feel that when I get sucked into a rabbit hole, and may I run away very, very quickly. I also thought about, the FBI coming into the future and looking at my web history, breaking into it and going, see, he was on the Daily Storm website.
See how many baby steps he took to seeing Carly Simon nude?
By the way, no Carly Simon nude that I could find.
Yeah, not real ones, I don't think.
That didn't pop up, no. Okay, well, we're gonna talk about this other stuff next year. I'm also gonna get to some of the viewer stuff or the listener stuff, because there's interesting questions this time. But for right now, I'll say that was Penn Sunday School. I'm not hearing it.
And you're cutting in and out. Can you check your absorption line? Make sure it's plugged in.
My what?
Your absorption line.
What's that mean?
Make sure it's plugged in at both ends. Cosmic Snipe Hunt.
That was Penn Sunday School. And to our listening ears, all nature sang and round
You really are off now.
music of the spheres. That was Penn Sunday School. That was Penn Sunday School.
Very funny, Reddy.